Right now you're warm. You don't think about it. The heat just sits there in the room with you. But for the humans who came before you, warmth wasn't a setting. It was a war. And winter was the enemy. Here's the thing about winter that we forget from inside a heated house. It didn't attack you once. It attacked from four directions at the same time. The cold, the hunger, the darkness, and the isolation. Each one alone could kill you. Your ancestors had to beat all four at once, every single year, for tens of thousands of years. So how did they do it, and what did it cost them? Start with the cold. In freezing temperatures, an exposed human loses body heat faster than almost any other mammal our size. No fur, no thick hide. So survival came down to one question. Could you trap your own warmth? Fire was part of the answer. A single flame could be the difference between a night and a death. But fire only works while you're near it. The moment you step away to hunt, the cold comes back for you, which is why the real breakthrough wasn't fire. It was a needle. At Denisova Cave in Siberia, archaeologists found a bone needle with an eye, a hole drilled through one end so a thread could pass through. It's somewhere around 40 to 50,000 years old. It sounds tiny. It changed everything. Before the eyed needle, humans wrapped skins around themselves. They could drape, they could tie, but they couldn't sew. The needle meant fitted clothing layers, hoods, seams that actually closed. It's the single invention that let humans walk into places no hairless ape had any business surviving. But the needle was the easy part, because now you're warm enough to survive and warm enough to starve slowly. Here's the second front: hunger. Every autumn was a race. Nuts, roots, drying meat, animal fat, everything that could be stored was stored. Because when the snow came, there was no grocery store, no neighbor, no delivery. There was only what you'd managed to save. And hunger, real hunger, does something to a person that the cold never could. The cold kills you from the outside. Hunger hollows you out from the inside. It makes the world narrow until there's only one thought left. That thought is coming. This is where the archaeology stops being comfortable. If these are the questions you want answered, the ones most channels won't touch, subscribe. This is exactly the kind of thing I follow the evidence on, even when it's hard to look at. Now, the third front, and this is the one nobody expects: darkness. In the deep of winter, especially at high latitudes, the light could vanish for most of the day. You'd think the dark was just another thing to survive a long, boring threat. But here's the twist. The dark didn't just threaten humans, it shaped them. An anthropologist named Polly Wessner spent years studying the Juhuanzi people of southern Africa, one of the last groups whose nights still look the way human nights looked for most of our history, and what she found changed how we understand ourselves. During the day, around the fire, conversation is practical. Who's hunting, where the water is, who owes who, logistics, gossip. But at night in the firelight, the conversation changes. It becomes stories, songs, rituals, the stuff of culture itself. Think about what that means. The long winter nights, the very thing that should have been pure suffering, may be the reason we have stories at all. The dark didn't just test us, it made us storytellers. Which brings us to the last front: isolation. And the part nobody wants to talk about, because sometimes all three failed at once. The cold came, and the stores were empty, and there was no one coming to help. And in those winters, humans did something that even as archaeologists we struggle to say plainly. At Gough's Cave in England, around 14,000 years ago, human bones were found with cut marks on them. Not the marks of an animal, not the marks of violence in a fight, the marks of butchery, the same precise cuts left behind when someone carefully processes meat from bone. I want to be careful here, because this matters. This isn't a horror story, it's evidence. The archaeology doesn't let us look away from it. There were winters so hard that survival itself had a cost we can't imagine from inside a heated house. Not violence, in most cases. Desperation. The part we don't like to admit is that our ancestors survived, some of them survived because of choices we can't fully comprehend. So here's the thing. Winter didn't kill us. It made us. It made us sew. It made us plan. It made us gather around firelight and tell stories, until we became the only species that walks into the ice and comes out the other side with a song. You're warm right now. Warm enough to watch a video about this instead of living it because they refuse to lose. That's the strangest part of all of this. The darkest chapter of human history isn't really a story about dying. It's a story about what we were willing to do to live. If you want the next question, the one you've never thought to ask, subscribe. There's a lot more evidence of where this came from.